This episode of Making Movies is brought to you by Washtenaw Community College.
I believe that entrepreneurs are born. I don't believe that they're made. And I believe that it might take some time for entrepreneurs to realize that they are in fact entrepreneurs, but there's something that entrepreneurs have that other people don't. And at 16 years old, I got my first and only real job. It lasted 3 months. I was a busboy at Outback Steakhouse. In high school, I was studying graphic design, and I figured that it was something that I was good at. I understood computers, I understood design, and that was something that I should then figure out how to monetize. I then started going to the business owners that I knew, which were my friends' dads. And I said, hey, you have a job. I'd love to do some stuff with you guys. And so I started working for free, and that free work started to be paid work. And I started to realize that what I enjoyed the most about doing graphic design was that I was crafting a brand. And a brand is more than just a logo, more than just having an icon that is representative of your company. It tells a story. It tells people about who you are. And when I realized that that's what I liked about graphic design, I realized that what I really wanted to do was tell people stories. So I spent my entire college savings and I bought a camera. And I enrolled in the local community college where I was living in Southern California, and I just needed to learn how to shoot. So I took photography classes, I took video classes. I just needed to understand what this did and how it worked because I knew that I understood stories. So then I went back to those same people I went to a couple of years before, and I was like, hey, you do business, I'd really like to tell your story. And I did that for free, and then that turned into paid. And then 2 weeks after my 18th birthday, I started my first company. And then my second company, and my third. And 6 companies and 4 business partners later, I now run a marketing agency here in Ann Arbor. And I work with really cool people, some of which are sitting in this room. And I get to do really cool things, and I really enjoy finding people's stories in a corporate structure. It's really easy for filmmakers to tell fiction stories, things that we have full control over, things that we get to create. But when you're given the constraints from a client to have to talk about who they are, creativity has to shift and has to change. So I believe that entrepreneurs are born and not made. But along the way, I've learned a couple of things. I've learned that you need to understand who you are before you can market yourself to other people. Marketing, at its core, is making people aware of your presence, whether it's you, your product, your service, what you do. But as freelancers or as small business owners, and especially as storytellers, this is not enough. How many of you are filmmakers in here? Raise your hand. Okay? What good does it do me to know that you're filmmakers? Nothing, because everybody sitting in here is your competition. What you need to do, and the purpose of marketing, is letting people know why they need you. You are the only one of you. Your experience in life, your truth in life, what makes you tick, what makes you a filmmaker and a storyteller is different from every other person in this room. And if instead of focusing on making people aware of your existence, you make the focus on why they need you, you've eliminated your entire competition. And that is what you need to market. This is the single most misunderstood concept in entrepreneurial business. Spending money for the sake of spending money, or spending money on the things that we think are cool and good and wonderful, doesn't necessarily translate into dollars. We need to focus on both long-term and short-term investments, and we'll get into that a little bit. But where you spend your money matters. So the tools that we're going to talk about today and the things that I'm going to discuss with you today do cost money. Not a lot of money, but they do cost money. But if you spend your money where it matters, and on the tools that we're going to talk about today, that will in turn make you money. So the first marketing tool that I want to talk about is the brand. Having a brand, first of all, is not enough. That's the first thing that you need to know. Having a brand is not enough. Everybody can have a brand. The first thing you need to do is you need to think it through. What embodies who you are? Now, if you're marketing yourself as an individual, as a freelancer, right, you're marketing your name, you still need to have a brand that accompanies that. Something that when people look you up and they see your brand for the first time, their first reaction is like, oh, that's Comic Sans. That's a surefire way to not get work, by the way, is using Comic Sans as a font, okay? What do you want people to know about you? How do you want people to feel about you when they engage with your brand? Think it through. The next thing, again, going back to Comic Sans, aesthetic matters. These two logos I'm about to show you, I just want you to know are actually real. I did not make these up, okay? This is the first one, Kate's Florist. Now, if Kate's Florist has the best prices in town, my first thought isn't going to be like, wow, I'm going to get a really good deal. My first thought is the flowers are going to be dead, right? Whereas in contrast, Olivia and her florist shop could be 3 times the price of Kate's, but I'd pay it. Now, I know nothing about them as florists. I have no idea what their capability as florists are. Kate might be the best florist in the state, but it wouldn't matter because I'd never buy from Kate. That's the power of a brand. It's a direct reflection of who you are. Your brand speaks on your behalf. Because if somebody's going to encounter you online before they encounter you in real life, that's what represents you. And just like Kate, if you don't have a logo that is reflective of the quality of work that you present, you won't get the work. Here are a couple of great resources. The first one is called Fiverr.com, and it's with 2 R's. I'm not a spokesman for any of these things, but these are resources that I actually use. How many of you are professional brand and logo designers? That's what I thought. Fiverr is a great resource where for starting at $5, people offer a service or product. Graphic design is very, very prevalent on Fiverr.com, and it's people who are designers who have a passion for logo and graphic design and those kind of things, and they offer those services to you. So if you are not a professional graphic designer, Fiverr.com is a great place to go to find someone who is. And they show their work online, and they have their rates available. And if you understand who your brand is, what it is that you are trying to sell and market, you can then give that to a designer and they will be able to turn that into a brand that is reflective of who you are. If you have some graphic design skill but don't want to do anything from scratch, GraphicRivernet is another really good resource. They have templates. And it's a place that you can start with a design that you feel is good and reflective of the brand that you have, and then you can take the skills that you have to tweak it and create and make it your own. The next thing we have is show reels. Harvey did a great job talking about this. If you don't have one of these, you won't get work. And if you get work, it's not work you're going to want. Okay? Show reels, like a brand, are emblematic of your ability. Now, if you're a doctor, right, where you went to school, the level of education that you have, what, clubs you're a part of, all of that matters. When you're a creative, this is what matters. This is the thing that will show the world what you are capable of. And this is my company's. That was 64 seconds long. Something you need to know is that there was 3.74 terabytes of footage that was gone through to get that 64 seconds. Steve went through all 3.74 terabytes of footage and gave me 26 minutes to cut it down to 60 seconds. But that gets to my first point, which is keep it short. When it comes to show reels, you love the material more than anyone else ever will. It needs to be short. Somebody, when they watch your show reel, should be like, that was really good, I wish it was longer. Because if the reaction is, thank God that's over, that's not good for you. Okay? And a really good piece of advice is to keep it short, and then when you think it's short enough, take it about half of that. Okay? That's the first thing. The second thing, and this is so crucial, because this is something that we as filmmakers don't think about enough, is your show reel is entirely about the music. If you pick a song that is not reflective of the visual medium in which you are presenting, if you don't find the right song or you pick the wrong song, it will do a disservice to your footage as opposed to enhancing your footage. And if your footage has to fight against the music to be watchable, you've already lost. If you are a freelancer, this is extremely important. And Heidi is very good about this, is that you need to have a reel for every one of your skills. Okay? I run an agency. We're a one-stop shop for marketing. We have one reel that demonstrates our capabilities. But if you are starting out or you are a freelancer, you need to have one for every skill. If you want to make it in this industry, there's only 3 things you need to do. And if you do these 3 things, I guarantee you, you will be successful at this. The first thing is that you need to work for people that are better than you for free. Now, the better than you component is extremely important. Don't just go working for everyone for free, because then you'll never make any money and you'll get mad at me. Find people that are better than you and work for them for free. That does 2 things for you. The first thing it does is it gets you on their radar. You now become an asset that they can lean on. The second thing is it grows your network. Those 2 things are the lifeblood of how you make money in this industry. So the first thing, find people that are better than you and work for them for free. The second thing I'm going to rephrase from how I tell my classroom this, be a pleasure to work with. I phrase that differently. But be a pleasure to work with. The thing is, there are 89 of us in the room right now that theoretically would all be pining for the same jobs. If you're a pain in the ass, there's 88 other people sitting in this room willing to do that job better than you and be easier to work with. You need to be the best person to work with at any given job that you're going for. Because anything less than that, you're competing with the rest of the room. The third thing is know what you're doing. Now, these 3 things are cyclical. The way that you learn and know what you're doing is by working for people who are better than you for free. And the way that you keep working for those people that are better than you for free is to be a pleasure to work with. And if you keep doing that, the next time that somebody better than you needs some work done, you will be the first person that comes to mind. And when you are then brought to mind, not every job is going to be a free job. He was awesome. She was awesome. They were awesome to work with. We want them back. Are you free? If you pay me. Right? It turns into money faster than anything. Harvey was talking about the front door, back door. This is the key to the back door. This is how you do it. Getting back to this, having one for every skill is so important, because if I'm going to work for people that are better than me for free as a cinematographer or an animator, I need to have a reel for both of those skills, because if I want you to even accept me to work for you for free, I need to show you that I can do it. And if you're hiring me as an animator, you don't care about my cinematography stuff. If you're hiring me as an actor, you don't care about my directorial stuff. So breaking your reels into bite-sized chunks for your skills will show that you're not a jack of all trades, but an expert at them. And that is the importance of show reels. Here are some resources. The first thing is SoundCloud. Most of you should know SoundCloud by now. It's an awesome online music source where people upload their work and present it to the world. The best thing about SoundCloud is many of the people that are on SoundCloud are relatively unknown musical artists. And if you find a song that speaks to you, you will have a much easier time talking to an artist directly through SoundCloud about using their material in your reel than you will trying to, get the next Nine Inch Nails song, which just don't do that anyway. The next one is MusicBed. Now this one is if you're going to be spending money. MusicBed is an unbelievable premium resource for music. They record the artists themselves. They break apart the stems. You can get instrumental, you can get vocals, you can get it broken up in 100 different ways, but you pay for it. Somewhere between $100 and $200 to license a song. But that will be premium content. The next two, videohive.net and rampantdesigntools.com. These are great resources that have both free and nominally, paid for things like VideoHive somewhere between $9 and $30, and the Rampant Design Tools is somewhere in the same. But they're video assets, things like After Effects animation templates, things like lens whacking overlays, things that can enhance the look of your visuals if animation is not necessarily a strong suit for you. This is a great way of adding a professional look onto your material without having to spend hours and hours learning a skill set that you may not need. Okay? The next thing is the website. Now, Judy talked a lot about online presence and being active online so people can find you and engage with what you're doing and create this persona of you being the resident expert at whatever the topic is that you're doing. And having a website is extremely, extremely important. There are only 4 things that you need to have on your website. And the reason why there's only 4 is because the purpose of a website is to convince people to talk to you. So keep it simple. Don't try to do too much. The first thing is the show reel. We've talked about the importance of a show reel and what your show reel or reels should be. There's a page for you to talk about yourself, and that's the About page. Now, historically speaking, artists, including myself, have a hard time talking about ourselves, right? And one of the things that all of the speakers have done a really good job of is talking about this idea of being confident in yourself and advocating for yourself. We don't need to be braggadocious in our approach, but if there was ever a place for you to talk yourself up, this is it. Now, don't lie. Don't say you can do things you can't do, but frame yourself, frame what you can do in the best light you can. Because somebody will read this and instantly make a value judgment about who you are. The third thing, and this is the thing that I see most often lacking on videographers' websites, is you need to display your work. Especially if you're marketing yourself to other industry professionals. Industry professionals know that show reels are the best of the best of the best of what you've done, right? And in that way, show reels can be deceiving. Show your work. You have to be proud of what you've done. Because if you're not proud of it, no one else will be. As entrepreneurs, we are our biggest advocates. We are our biggest fans. There are going to be plenty of people to tell you that you can't do it. And if you tell yourself you can't, you won't. So, Be proud of what you've done. Post completed works on your website. Give people an idea of what you are capable of. And the last thing is your contact. Goodness gracious. You would think that most people are celebrities by the way that they safeguard their information. Make it easy for people to get in touch with you. Put your website, your email, your Twitter handle, your phone number, your Facebook fan page, any way that anybody can get in touch with you, put it on here in writing. If I go to a contact page that only has like a web form to fill out and email them, I don't talk to them. Now, have a contact page web form for sure. Don't not have that. Because your grandma might want to send you something for Christmas and not remember your address. But make it easy. You guys should be everywhere online, and if you're everywhere online, post it here, so that way the people who are on Twitter can get in touch with you on Twitter. The people who are on Facebook can get in touch with you on Facebook. The people who like to have a phone call more than an email can call you. That's it. Now, if you're not a professional website developer, there are some awesome resources available to you. If you take Matt's web video class, you talk about building a website, and you will use the resource Wix.com. For free with Wix, you can go on and have a click and drag system where you can design with ease and not know any coding. You can create a website for free. Now, that website will be, Garrett Sammons .wix.com, right, or wix.com/Garrett Sammons. But if you pay for it, if you invest in your website and you pay a small nominal fee, you can still build it entirely through Wix and have it ported directly to your own domain, which should be, by the way, the name of your brand. Next one, Squarespace. Very similar to Wix, a little more in depth with what you're able to do. This one is much more templated, theme-based. So you can go on and see hundreds or thousands of designed themes that then you can plug your information into, again, without needing to know any back-end or coding skills, and build your website that way. The last one, WordPress is a great solution. Okay? This is for people who actually understand web development, web content, content management systems. WordPress is a very, very in-depth approach to web design. It works on a theme-based system where you find an existing design and then you can sculpt it in any way to make it your own. That's your website. This gets deep. There are a lot of wrong ways to do social media marketing and very few ways of doing it right. Authentic engagement is a term that you will hear a lot in business school and marketing school and mass communication. What authentic engagement, when you strip it down to what it really is, it's being real with the people you're communicating with. Don't pretend to be bigger than you are. Don't pretend that your sets are multi-million-dollar sets when you've spent $300. People can smell that. They know when they're being lied to. Be real. If you're on the journey of learning filmmaking and you're documenting that through social media and putting it out there for other business professionals and industry professionals to see and hire, be real with that. It doesn't matter what blend or channels of social media that you are on. This is universally true. The first thing is do not comment spam. If you're confused by what this is, I have a picture. On every post that I posted for a week, I got these two comments. Want followers? Check my page. That is not authentic engagement, right? When I find spam comments, I swipe left and I report it. This is the one that I see filmmakers more guilty of. If you enjoy R&B, please click the link in my profile. Dope page, by the way. Do you think I've ever clicked the link in his bio? No. The next thing, don't overpost. I'm sure you all at some point have followed an account of something that you thought you were interested in to find out that they post 11 times a day. And they chew through your entire feed, and you can't do anything or enjoy any of the content that anybody else is posting other than that guy. What do? You delete it, right? You unfollow it. You disengage with the content. That's not the purpose of what we're doing. Now, on the flip side of that, and we'll get into this in a minute, make sure that you are regularly posting. The third thing, this is weird. Every once in a while, I get a notification that says, so-and-so just tagged you in their picture. I have no idea who that person is. And then I go and I look at the post, and it's like their movie poster for their short film, which they're thinking about throwing on Kickstarter maybe next year. It's awful, right? It does nothing for me. There's no value exchange. I get nothing out of that. I have nothing to gain from that. The last thing, irrelevant hashtagging. Every major social platform at this point has hashtagging. It's a great resource. It's an awesome tool to find cool things and to be discovered by cool people. But if I see somebody with a T3i Canon camera on a shoot and they tag Red, Ari, Blackmagic, Zeiss, I'm like, dude, that's the fantastic plastic you're shooting on. You spent $100 on that lens. I don't want that, okay? And all they're doing is they're doing it to get people to like it. But the majority of people who are going to like a T3i on a Red post, hey, do you want more followers? There's no authentic engagement there. So don't do it. Now, on the flip side of that, there are things that you should do. The first thing you should do is post quality. Again, like your website, your social media engagement is a direct reflection of you and your brand and your capabilities. Don't post Tequila Fridays. But if you're doing cool stuff, if you're on short films, if you're collaborating with other people, if you're in the process, and it doesn't matter if it's pre-production, production, or post-production, document it. Put it online. Let people engage with the stuff that you're doing. And be proud of the stuff that you're doing. But make sure that it's relevant and it's quality and it works with the brand that you've created. The next thing, hashtags are an unbelievable thing to get found on social media. If you're in pre-production and you're writing a script, hashtag that. Hashtag pre-production, hashtag script, right? Most of your social media platforms allow you to hashtag up to 30 hashtags. But make sure that they're relevant. Because here's the thing, when I get bored, which is a lot, or I'm about to go to bed and I find myself on Instagram, I'll go through and I'll say, okay, what's going on with the hashtag filmmaking? And I'll go through and I'll find some, or what's going on with the hashtag cinematography? And I find really cool people doing really cool stuff, and then I follow and engage with their content because the value exchange is there. I get something out of that. It's aesthetically pleasing, or it's inspiring, or it's a really cool setup that I want to emulate, and I bookmark a post. Hashtags are awesome, and use them, but use the right ones. Tag involved people, okay? We talked about tagging strangers and how weird and creepy that is. Don't do that. But on the flip side of that, if Harvey and I take a picture together, it would be rude of me not to tag Harvey in the post. But tag involved people, okay? This industry, we don't work on an island. We're not working by ourselves. There are other people that are collaborating on the things that we're doing, and you should give credit where credit's due. They'll also like you more. Okay? But tag involved people. And the last thing, and this one is really, really, really important. Social media can so easily become just a vacuum which we're spewing verbal vomit into. Engage with other people. Okay? If somebody posts something that is really cool, comment on it. Don't do like the thumbs up emoji, by the way. That's not a comment. Okay? Don't use whatever. Genuinely comment. Okay? Get involved with other people that are doing really cool things online. Especially people that are better than you. That builds your network. What you know will get you pretty far in this industry. Who you know will get you infinitely further. The flip side of you working for people that are better than you for free is that somewhere along the ladder, you are the person who is better than someone. And that person will come to you and ask to work with you or ask to be involved. And be the person who helps them up the ladder the same way that other people are going to help you up the ladder. We're all in this together. And to Heidi's point earlier, there isn't enough female presence in this industry, and that's an important voice. So if you have people in your network, especially women in your network, that is of such value to storytelling, to art, and to filmmaking across the board. So that's what we need to be doing in our social media. That is what authentic engagement looks like. And this works. Here are the places that you, as a filmmaker, need to be. You can be elsewhere. There's nothing wrong with being on multiple platforms, but you should not be lost on any of these four. The first one is Instagram. Instagram has a 300% higher user engagement than any other social media platform. And the best part is it is a visual media platform. You can post up to 60-second video clips. You can post high-res photos. It's perfect for our industry. The next one's YouTube. Okay? YouTube is another asset that's owned by Google. And Google is constantly monitoring all of that to find what's most relevant to bring it up to the top of search pages. So when you post things, don't post them on your own personal video or your own personal hosting service. Use YouTube, because that is a great way to get exposure to your brand, to your website, to your other social platforms. The last thing I have, and it's the most important one, is your business card. This 3.5-inch by 2-inch square, rectangle, whatever, is everything. This is both a short-term and a long-term investment. I have gotten phone calls 3 years after meeting somebody and have no idea who they are, but they know who I am. They've been sitting on my business card. And like everything else, it's a direct reflection of your brand, so it does need to be designed in a way that is aesthetically pleasing. But this, like your contact page, should be what people use to get in touch with you. Whether that's on your social channels, whether that's on your phone, whether that's to watch your show reel, go to your website, what have you. This is how people get in touch with you. Spend the money, okay? It's working 24/7. It's a short and long-term investment. I already said all of this. Perfect, okay? The last thing, Fiverr and GraphicRiver, we talked about these before. They're not just for brands. You can also use them for your logos. What you should use is a company called Moo, M-O-O, like the cow, Moo. Okay, again, a really, really great price. It's more than Vistaprint, but the cards are wonderful. They are much better, and they're a great representation of your brand. Spend the money, buy business cards, drive traffic to your social media, to your website, so people can watch your show reel, and you can get work. That's the end.